YouTube, chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, chicks.
Listen, Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Oh man, this about to get real nasty in a minute, you guys. This is kind of petty. Now, you guys all know how it goes in business. Everybody feels like there's only room for one person at the top, so it's all about killing your competition. You're going to do anything you can to gain an advantage, and yes, that means even if it's poking holes in your competition. Now, you guys all know Jim Jones has a podcast with Mano, Dave East, and Fab. Their podcast is called Let's Rap About It. So far, they've got about 4 episodes out right now. Now, so far, the numbers for the podcast looks pretty good. Almost every episode for the podcast is at 100K views. But just like we saw with Fat Joe and Jada Kiss podcast, it doesn't quite hit the same until you diss another podcast that's at the top of the food chain. That's the playbook everybody has been running the past 10 years. If you want to get your podcast name out there, you have to diss another podcast early on and hope they respond to you. And surprise, surprise, 4 episodes in, and here we are. Jim Jones is now trying to expose Camron and his podcast for allegedly stealing the name of their podcast. Now, everybody knows Cameron Mace has a podcast called It Is What It Is. It's been going for 2 years now. I believe the first episode was actually recorded back in November of 2022. As you guys know, it's a sports podcast and it's very successful. So much so that they actually signed an 8-figure deal for the podcast a couple years ago.
How'd the show come together from there?
So the show actually came together. We were supposed to do a tour after we got cool, me, him, and Jada. That didn't work out. And so many people were inviting me to do podcasts. Like, yo, Cam, do a podcast. When you gonna do a podcast? And I'm like, I don't really want to talk to niggas for a living. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I don't want to have to talk to nobody, but I do like sports. So I look at the phone, I'm arguing with niggas, and by the time I hang the phone up, it's just say 2.5 hours of me arguing with a nigga about sports. So I was like, maybe this is something I want to do. And I built a stage, I got a sound stage, I built my own set out. And I said, I'm going to do ESPN meets the hood. So that's why we wear suits on the show. But it was a professional setting. And then after that, I invited Mace on the show. As a guest, and he's like, Ken, what's going on? And I said, I'm just shooting this shit. I said, I got a budget. I'm gonna reach this budget and see if niggas bite, pause. And he's like, you wanna be partners? I'm like, after I get my money back on what I spent, we could go 50-50. And he's like, all right, bet. So we did about 10 shows and a bunch of people called. So we ended up doing like 30 shows and ended up getting a really good deal. But after I did like 5 shows, he's like my 5th guest, and he's like, be partners, because I have nobody consistent doing it anyway. So that's how I came together.
I think y'all smoking shit, man. I think everything that y'all have done in the media space, what it is, and the talk with Flea, I think y'all smoking shit.
Nah.
Now, here's where things get interesting, you guys. Apparently, there's a podcast called It Is What It Is Radio. And also, this specific podcast was started back in 2016. And now they're officially accusing Camron of stealing the name of their podcast. The host for It Is What It Is radio show came out yesterday and said, yo, you might as well let the rest of the world know if you already don't. Camron, I started It Is What It Is radio show in 2016 and you stole the name. I thought Harlem was known for being original. I got receipts. Let's have a conversation. Y'all can at Camron. Now, magically, some way, somehow, these guys managed to get in touch with Jim Jones. I'll let you guys figure out exactly how it happened. And of course, Jim Jones did exactly what he was supposed to do. And that is giving light and attention to this story, this accusation, hoping and making sure it picks up traction. Jim reposted it to his story and says, yo, stole the name of the show is crazy. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, and somebody actually told this guy in the comments saying, yo, It Is What It Is a frequent saying we use in New York. I'm pretty sure in other areas too. Them using the name was probably a real coincidence. How many Lils and Babies do we have in rap? The host of the show says, I'm just saying I had it first. That's all. And it's some similarities. I've been doing that shit before it became a thing to do in 2016. Now, let's be all the way real here, you guys. Jim Jones definitely knows that Cam did not steal the name of his podcast from these guys. From what it looks like, these guys stopped doing their podcast It Is What It Is radio show like 5 years ago. And it was a music-based podcast, not a sports podcast like Cam and Mace's. And I'll be honest with you guys, the phrase "it is what it is" is so common, even Hassan Campbell thought they stole the name from him.
Mace, did he pull the, he pulled the popcorn. Mace, I'm gonna listen. Y'all took "it is what it is" from me. But Mace, I'm gonna have to steal the popcorn. I'm gonna steal the pop. I'm admitting it to the world. I have to get the popcorn. Mace, I have to get the popcorn.
And do we really think Cam was sitting on YouTube going back and seeing what names he can possibly take from another person? Especially being very familiar with copyright lawsuits. And I don't want to take away from these guys that started the radio show It Is What It Is. Obviously, they have a right to feel how they feel about it. But at some point, you gotta be realistic. If you want to start your podcast back up and you want to collab with Cam and Mace, there's other ways of going about it. You could have easily reached out in the DMs, even though I think Cam probably would have told you to go kick rocks. Now, who knows? Maybe these guys have documentation saying that they own the phrase "it is what it is." Maybe they trademarked it. I'm not sure. But if you're going to accuse somebody of stealing the phrase from you for the name of their show, their actual business that's doing amazing right now, you gotta have some kind of legal proof. You guys get in the comments below. Do you guys think Jim Jones is playing a very dirty game right now? And do you guys believe that Cam and Mace stole the name of their show from these guys? Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys later, man.